Hi peeps, how's it going? Welcome to Fishy Fitness Coaching Podcast. I hope you're good. I'm not going to do a intro, like music intro or outro. I think it just takes too much time. It's a lot of faffing around, a lot of editing, and I think it's quite unnecessary. I don't know. Is it cringe? I'm not sure. I listened back to a couple of the first ones with the music, and I don't know. It seems a bit cringe to me. It's just easier me doing this without music. So here we are. So this is episode 5, I believe. I'm still trying to do one a week. You know, it might reduce down to one every 2 weeks, but yeah, we'll see. I'm going to get another guest on very soon. I haven't had one on yet, I know, but I'm going to do a few on my own first before I get anyone else. So this podcast is going to be it'll be a nice and short one again, 10 minutes or so. It's going to be about body composition, how to improve body composition. I think the subject can be quite confusing for people when it comes to improving body composition. So I'm going to go through what it actually is, how to improve it, you know, what is body composition, and how do we go about improving body composition. So body composition is essentially what most people want to achieve, improved body composition. We can define body composition as the ratio between muscle and fat. Okay, so when people say, you know, I want to lose body fat, I want to get toned, I want to become more muscular, improve definition, what they basically mean is I want to improve body composition. So I want to improve the ratio between muscle tissue and body fat. What we would do is we'd work at reducing body fat or, if we can, increasing muscle tissue. At the very least, preserving muscle tissue, because like I always say, and I always will say, muscle tissue is very, very important. Okay, so that's essentially what we need to do. Lose body fat, increase muscle tissue, and that's what's going to give you the improved body composition. Right, so how do we go about doing this? Well, first of all, it depends on your start point. It depends on who you are. It depends on how your physique is currently looking. All right, so let's say if you're someone who's carrying a bit too much body fat or stored energy, I like to call it stored energy because that's all it is. If you're someone who's carrying too much body fat, then we need to look at... Oh, Charlie wants to go on. Come on, Charlie. We need to look at losing body fat first, right, while preserving muscle tissue. So simply, we need to create a calorie deficit by finding out your rough maintenance calories, taking off 200, 300, 400 calories from that number, and tracking your food intake so you're not consistently going over your daily target. That's what's going to get you the calorie deficit, which is what's going to cause or induce fat loss. So we need to create a calorie deficit, a sustainable calorie deficit, through nutritional manipulation, basically changing your nutrition habits, your eating habits, your lifestyle habits, and maybe, you know, incorporating some sort of cardio into your week, moving more, maybe, you know, trying to hit a step count every day. That's going to increase your energy output. So it will help you basically create and sustain this calorie deficit, which is what you need to lose body fat. Once we start to lose body fat, we will also need to hold on to muscle tissue, or try and build as much muscle tissue as we can. But if you are in a calorie deficit, it's fairly difficult to build muscle tissue unless you are very new to training, unless you have a lot of stored energy, aka body fat, or unless you are on performance enhancing drugs, right, steroids. So, but we always need to try and build as much muscle as possible, even though you may not necessarily build a lot of muscle tissue. We need to train as though we are trying to, right? So, and this is what's going to preserve the muscle tissue. We need to basically train in the gym 3, 4, 5 times a week, whatever you can do consistently, and we need to lift weights at a moderate load, well, taking each working set close to failure. The rep range doesn't really matter, around 8 to 15 reps. The most important thing is taking your working sets close to failure. You're training hard, you're training with intent, and you're training with good technique, and you're training to get stronger, to build muscle tissue. If you do that consistently, you will at the very least preserve or hold on to muscle tissue. Doing this while in a fairly sustainable small calorie deficit will induce fat loss. So you'll start to tap into those stored energy cells, which is body fat, right? You'll start tapping into that stored energy. Your body fat will slowly start to reduce while your muscle tissue stays put. Over time, with consistency, hard work, patience, over weeks and weeks, your body composition will gradually start to improve. And that's all there is to it. Obviously, as well as creating this calorie deficit and training in the gym consistently, we need to make sure your overall health is optimal. So things like making sure you have a high protein diet, because that's going to help with overall satiety. It helps you keep fuller for longer. It helps with muscle preservation, so it's going to help with holding onto muscle tissue and hopefully building a bit more as well. We need to make sure your fruit and vegetable intake is high, because these sorts of foods will help with, again, keeping you full, giving you the right nutrients in order for you to get the best results possible. We need to make sure your sleep is where it should be. So you should be sleeping 7 to 9 hours per night. So this is all sort of going back to the basics, right? So this is why I always say, always go back to basics. If you have these basics in order, and if you create this sustainable calorie deficit for you and your lifestyle, if you lift weights in the gym consistently with intent, your body composition will gradually improve. So your body fat levels will reduce and your muscle tissue will stay where it is. And if you're very lucky, you'll actually build a bit of muscle tissue as well. So that's basically what body composition is. That's how you improve body composition. It's very, very simple. It does sound more confusing than it actually is, I think. So when I do mention body composition and how to improve body composition, it comes across as a technical word, which is, I guess it is quite technical. But once you sort of break it down into easier chunks to manage, to understand, it becomes very, very simple. Okay, so yeah, that's basically it. Nice and short one today. If you have any questions on body composition, or if you have any more questions on understanding how to improve body composition, just let me know. Just send me a message on Instagram or get me on Facebook, email me, whatever's best for you, and I'll get back to you. The aim going forward is to get Steve Hall on to talk about muscle growth, hypertrophy, the main mechanics of muscle growth, what's needed, what's not as needed, or what's not needed as much as what people think. The sort of the myths about muscle growth. We'll talk about that. And I'm going to get someone else on called Charlotte. So she's a nutritionist. She's a fully qualified nutritionist. She knows her stuff about nutrition, and we're going to talk about fat loss and cardio. Whether cardio is actually that beneficial for fat loss. Is it more beneficial for certain people? So that's also coming up in the near future. This is bank holiday today, so I hope you enjoyed or are enjoying the bank holiday, depending on when you're listening to this. And I do appreciate everyone's downloads. 104 downloads now, which that's exciting. That's probably I think it's about 30 people altogether, but that's cool. But if you can, do me a favor and share the podcast to your Instagram story, tagging me, maybe writing a little bit about it, about how unbelievably amazing it is, or not, I don't know. But yeah, anything like that will help me out. Even like leaving a review, sharing it on Spotify, telling your friends and family about it, that'd be good. Lastly, if you have any questions about online coaching, if you want help, if you need help with, building your best physique, losing body fat, building muscle, getting stronger, just changing your eating habits to your lifestyle habits, then get in touch and I will get back to you with what we can do. All right, have a good one, and I'll speak to you again very soon.